So good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Today we have Elsabe Booyens with us to give a presentation on business-to-business marketing and PR. Quite an interesting topic during these times. I don't want to take up too much time. Basically, I will be the host for today. So if you have any questions, feel free to just ask them to me, and I'll make sure to get an answer to you. If you have any questions for Elsabe, there's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. So click on that, and you can ask any questions, and Elsabe will answer them either at the end or during her presentation. Having said that, I want to give it over to Teresa. She can introduce the topic for today, and then Elsabe can get started.
Right, thanks, Gil. Hi, everyone. As I said, it's so nice to see everyone here that are, you know, I just get a feeling the guys here are so serious about what's happening and what they need to change in their lives, and what differences or changes they need to do in business to survive this. And that's why I've asked Elsabe to chat to us. I've known Elsabe for many, many years. We actually went to university together. I'm a bit older than she is, but we went to university together, and I've heard a lot of her talks and chats. And what I find amazing about her talks, specifically on the PR side and on marketing, is that she does give you practical tips. She's not one of the stingy people that will chat to you and then not give you a tip that you can use. So she's of a company her company is called Fried Tomato. I'll add the link to the chat box as well. And she's really brilliant in reputation management. She understands exactly what's happening at the moment, because she's worked with ANC and all the other groups as well. And if you ever need someone to assist you with marketing or PR or reputation management, feel free to contact her. But with that said, I'm going to leave it up to you guys, and I'm going to hide myself, and then you can chat. Yeah. Thanks, Elsabe.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So welcome, and I think it's day 49 or nearly day 50 of lockdown. The fact that we haven't gone stir crazy yet is a pure miracle. And I know after last night's speech that everybody is feeling a little bit perturbed and more than a little bit despondent, I think. However, it's not all bad news. In these days and times, if you're agile, if you're prepared to put in some extra effort, and if you think a little bit out of the box, and we think about our clients and what their real needs are, we most probably are going to come out on the other side quite okay. So we've been talking about something called the low-touch economy. So through COVID-19, how we are going to interact with people is going to change quite dramatically. How we do things will have to change. We can't touch people anymore, no more hugs, no more, which is going to bring its own angst. And we will talk through the slide I have on that. But what will the post-COVID economy look like, and what is the low-touch economy? So I've got some slides that will come up to shortly, and we're going to look now at why our world's going to be different, 10 examples of expected shifts that we predict are going to happen in consumer behavior and opportunities that there are for businesses. What does this mean for your PR and reputation management, and how we think you could be, and what to do now? What can you do to sort of get through this? So on the next slide, Phil will be helping us get to the next slide. We have, why is our world going to be different? There's going to be the search for positive change. So out of this darkness, we need to have some change. So we're on slide number 3 now.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just.
Okay.
There we go.
No, that's okay. So there's going to be huge changes in rules and policies. They're going to go up, they're going to go down as we've been going through them. So we all thought that level 4 would look different. We thought we'd have more freedom. In actual fact, it's a little bit more restrictive than we had in level 5, because all of a sudden we have a curfew at night. We can't go out. They're limiting our gatherings. We can only buy, and this ridiculous rule about what you can buy in a store to wear for winter clothes. So it feels, so this is going to go up and down. Travel restrictions are going to remain for quite some time. Hygiene requirements are going to be even more pressing than before, and we're going to have to protect vulnerable groups. This means we're going to have to create new habits and behaviors that are going to stick. Remote working, if you can. So for many of us, we have our own businesses, so working from home, or working from a remote destination is not a problem. We'll have a better mix of work-life balance. We all have seen if in your webinars and your Zoom meetings, you have mums with babies on their laps. You have mums that are saying, okay, I'll take a call. I just need to do the dishes. Or can I quickly get a load of laundry in? So our lives are going to become far more balanced and far more intertwined. And then e-commerce is going to become critical along with the logistics and e-health. You are going to see less of your doctor. Most psychologists and most practices would most probably be running online sessions with their clients. And for you as a counselor and a guidance kind of person, you should be looking at doing a lot of your work online. If you haven't gone online yet, I would suggest we do that. So for the next slide, we are going to go through some aftershocks. So the second and the second order and the effects of this impact is going to ripple on most probably for the next 3 to 5 years in some shape, form, or description. The big COVID now that we have not even seen, or we've started seeing the second wave of infections in China. So the moment you start opening your economy again, all of a sudden you'll have a spike in infections, and people are going to be tempted to go back into lockdown, which isn't very possible if we are trying to save our economies. A third of the global population is in some form of lockdown as we speak now. Mass unemployment is going to be on the order of the day. You're going to see major companies go bankrupt. In South Africa, the media space has been decimated already. We have seen Jane Raffaelli's Associated Magazines close. Caxton are thinking about selling off all their magazines. So no more Sari, no more Vroue Keer, no more People magazine, no more Woman and Home, no more Your Family. All those classic titles that have been around for years that we all grew up with are going to be gone very soon. Governments are going to have to bail certain sectors out just to keep our economies going. And then the geopolitics are going to be closed borders, new laws, and fueled by huge xenophobia. Now, as a country that has already had massive, and I mean violent deaths due to xenophobia, we are going to have to watch our language, watch our tone, and be very sure that we do not instigate any of this. And please do not share fake news or Facebook or a WhatsApp group. But that's a different conversation for a different day. So on the next slide, we will have to look, what is the new normal going to look like? Everybody keeps talking about this new normal, like, what is it? So various groups are trying to figure out what rules should be in place when the South African economy restarts while the risk of COVID is still there. Life will not go back to normal, and we agree that life should not go back to how it was. There were a lot of injustices, and there were lots of things that were being done wrong that we now have an opportunity to change. We will have to operate under different rules, at least for the duration of South Africa's winter, because we know that flu season is upon us, and we know that this little virus in particular likes cold. So until the vaccine is available, we are going to have to be really careful. So current recommendations, which could become rules, include taking your staff's temperature and developing a plan for what to do if somebody has symptoms at work, because then you have to lock down, you have to have people in, we have to clean. So as we're seeing all these new rules come out, and you've seen all these little spray tunnels, I don't know at your Pick and Pay, but my Pick and Pay, as you walk in, you get a clip, only so many people in a store. You have to queue outside, that I've never had to do before to buy food. Then as you walk in, there's the spray booth that sprays you down and disinfects you. And our store disinfects the whole store every night after the store has closed, which leaves this slimy, oily kind of feeling stuff on everything that you touch, which is not quite pleasant. However, we're prepared to put up with that. And these are just going to expand. This is how it's going to look at work. If somebody gets sick at work, a whole floor will maybe have to go into voluntary isolation for 14 days so that we can make sure we don't bring it back to the company. And this is going to be fluid. No one knows what the rules are. We're making them up as we go along. As you saw, the president last night apologized for the things that they have done wrong. And we will be seeing a lot more of this. We must just be aware because this adds to everyone's pressure. And as coaches, it's something that you're going to have to deal with in your clients. So controversial and debatable measures being discussed around the world are sending people to leper colonies. So that if you are infected, we're going to put you in a colony and there you shall stay until you are either better or until it proves that you don't have COVID-19. Or we are sending young people back to work because the chances of them getting ill is less than older people. And then immunity passports, and once you are proven to be immune, if you want to travel freely. So we see that soon you will have to have immune certification if you want to travel, which is going to be a problem. And on the next slide, we will look just some visuals. Expected shifts in consumer behavior, the early signs and open questions. Gradual shifts that were happening over time have now been accelerated. We've got police with helmets with infrared vision and facial recognition in China and in the Middle East, where as you walk, they can check, they can see your temperature, they can also identify you on the population database according to your ID. And this is going to become more and more prevalent. And you're going to see more esports because the sporting and entertainment industry has been decimated. We don't see a rugby match being held very soon. Formula One has been cancelled. Major tennis has been cancelled. And that's going to be in place for a really long time. And then indoor delivery robots to stop human touch and to stop transmission, you're going to be seeing robots come up much more to ensure that you don't actually transmit. So next, 10 shifts driven by changed human behavior. 1, we're going to go through geopolitics. We're going to become very protective of our borders, which is a bad thing if you look at what's happening in the United States and the narrative that Donald Trump is pushing, because it is very isolationist. And then there is this geopolitical between China, Russia, and the USA. Things are not happy, and this impacts on our rand, it impacts on our economy, and it just adds to our stress, which we don't really need. Human behavior. So immune certification, we'll talk about when we get to that slide, is going to be a serious thing. Now we have the anti-vaccine lobby, and we have people that say it's the devil's work, and we have all sorts of stuff. But if you want to travel, you're going to have to prove that you are immune. So this is a discussion you need to have with yourself and with a lot of your clients, and we need to deal with the angst and the issues that are going to come out around this. Industry dynamics are changing. So supply chain is going to become really critical because we are about to have everything delivered, which is also a problem at times. And in South Africa, we know that our supply chain is sometimes choppy. So we are going to have to plan ahead. We're going to have to plan carefully. We're going to have to shop with great savvy. And the more you can make, the better. So I do suggest that you learn how to cook and bake from scratch, that you know how to maybe sew, do basic clothing, garden, grow a lot of your own food if you can, because things are going to be a little bit choppy and you might at times not find things in the store that you need. Regulation. There are going to be huge new laws coming down, and everything will be legislated, everything will be managed. We see that they are trying to change search and seizure arrangements in South Africa, where that they can search your vehicle or your house without a warrant. So we, our lobby groups and our NGOs and our public beneficiary, or the groups that look after our public interest, are going to have to be vigilant. They're going to have to be loud. And if you want to live in a better place, please look for a way to get involved, because your voice is going to be critical. And then macroeconomics are there's going to be a limited access to capital. So starting new businesses, finding funding for things, finding sponsorship, all of these things are going to become hugely tricky. So moving on, there are 10 shifts. So we're going to experience more anxiety, loneliness, and depression. There's going to be damaged trust in hygiene of people and products. We see it already. We're all wary of touching people. We're wary of going close. We're wary of going to people's houses, all sorts of things. Extended travel restrictions will be in place, even within country. We anticipate that you will be able to travel locally, most probably towards the end of September, October only. Once we go into level 2, you will be able to take local flights. Up until then, travel will be hugely restricted. There will be optimized work from home systems and setups. So I'm not ideally set up at home for anything formal. I'm fortunate that I have a far more informal kind of setup. But if we're going to be working from home more, I will have to invest in a better, if we can get fiber, you're going to have a big flat screen, great camera. We're all going to have to get much more tech savvy. Then there's rising tension and conflicts at all levels. So from family units straight up into politics, between political groups, between businesses, between cultural groups, but it's going to get testy. Then we see unprecedented levels of global unemployment. So as businesses change, as businesses close, as we lose industries, people will have to redefine themselves. You will have to be agile. We're going to have to relook what we think a good job is. So I have been pushing this narrative for quite some time, that a good job is a job that pays your salary and gives you an opportunity to look after your family and grow. Where there's been a narrative that only if you have an office job, that manual labor and being a technician or being a welder is less of a job, which in actual fact it's not. These are going to become the critical and key skills that we require going forward, because without a manufacturing capacity or without people who know how to make things, we are going to collapse. So think about how you're going to realign coaching people into new jobs, new careers, what they should be thinking about, and going back to basics. Then we're going to have limited touch and interaction with older generations. Older people are incredibly fragile and are incredibly at risk with this current problem that we have. So unless you were living in a space with your older people, you might not see them for extended times, or you might have to go through extraordinary cleaning and disinfecting processes to see them. So please reach out, look after your old people, get close to them before you can't. It's very key. And we are going to discover that our identity is no longer in what our job is. And our identity is no longer about what I wear, which label, which brand, where I go. Now it is about, are you compassionate? Do you care? How do you have survival skills? Do you know how to make things? Do you know how to get through times like this? And it is critical as parents and leaders that we show our children these skills, because they are watching us and we need to show them and be on top of everything and show them that values are not wealth, is not money. There are other things that are more important. And then there's going to be the value of an immune certified customer. So for the travel sector in particular, this is going to be very important, for the entertainment sector and for people who like going to restaurants, because you are not going to be allowed into these spaces unless you can prove that you are immune. So let's go on. So I've gone through 10 of these slides. I've given you some more detail. Please, I've asked that they share this presentation with you. I give this presentation with love. You can use it. Please quote it. Use the material. This is really here to help guide people and start conversations about where you should be going with your business. Now for coaches, I think this first slide is really important. More anxiety, loneliness, and depression. So in a society that was so busy and we were chasing around and people were just crazy, we were isolated already. We're isolated behind our screens. We were disconnected from the world. And this disconnection is going to get even bigger. So here is going to be one of your biggest opportunities as coaches. There will be a tremendous need for remote therapy and coaching. Go online, set up your business now, and find some great things to do. So, and there's going to be more demand for pets and animal companions, and social and online tools are going to go crazy and grow. And Then there is the online dating. So this is going to be very interesting. I'd like to see how this plays out, is how do we adapt some of our social activities. So we're not going to go through all of these in particular. If we go to, let me just have a look here, to slide number 18, Hill, please. The value of a certified immune customer. If your business model relies on packing many people in tight spaces, there's no lights at the end of the tunnel for you. So cruises, theaters, events, festivals, shows, restaurants, we're going to have a problem. The rise of solo dining booths. There is this famous picture that's going around at the moment out of Amsterdam, where a restaurant on a canal has set up these little glass houses, these little glass greenhouses that can take 2 people. And that is how you are going to be dining in isolation. The one way out could be the rise of a new customer segment with an official health record to prove the immune status. So are you going to only market to these people? Are you going to market to everyone? Who are you going to see? Are you going to say to them, okay, if you can show me that you've had the vaccine, you can come to my office? How are we going to treat doctors, people, you know, who knows? There's going to be lots of ethical questions arise around this, and we'll have to see. So this is going to be uncharted territory for most industries, although it might be a good alibi to keep your eye on the adult entertainment industry, as funny as it might sound, because they have dealt with these issues due to HIV and STDs in their industry for a long time. These are things that they've had to worry about, and now it's our problem as well. We are going to have to think about how we're going to treat people who are not immune certified or who are immune certified. I've recently seen the travel restrictions and what we think it's going to look like to get onto an international plane in the future. We anticipate that it could be 4 hours from arriving at the airport until you can actually get on a plane, because you are going to be cleansed, and cleansed again. And then your temperature is going to be taken at a number of points. And at any one of these given points, if your temperature spikes or flags, you're going to be kicked off the plane. And what is this going to mean for women who have menopause? Because we all know that hot flashes. So it's going to be interesting. This ride's going to still get hairy, people. So the next slide, please. So those of you who have met me before, we've spoken about the dimensions of reputation management. So on the one side, you've got the dimensions, and on the other side, we have the actions and the supportive behavior. So we are going to have to look at our businesses. What does our business performance look like? So do we have the money? If somebody signs up with me for a 6-month course, are they guaranteed that I have the funds to run my business? Am I still going to be around in 6 months? What is the quality of my product and service look like? How innovative am I? Employer attractiveness, if you're thinking about maybe growing a chain, or if you are going to want to employ staff. Governance, which in South Africa is critical, because we need ethical leadership now. We have such bad examples of what leadership could be and should be that frankly we don't trust our own government. And that creates half the problem and creates a whole new level of stress that none of us need. We really need to start changing this, because we are not getting what we should be getting from our government. We need to be heard. We need to change things. And please, an avast online petition is not going to do the trick. Be heard, step up to the plate, write letters, be seen, phone in, do things. And these are also the things that you need to do for your own business. Marketing, sales, effectiveness. So the cheapest, most powerful, most effective way to reach your audience is what you must look at. And we'll get to another slide where we talk about watching your tone and not being seen as to be profiteering out of other people's hardship and tough times as we are going through. Then there's the quality of your leadership. So you have to spend some time investing in who you are, your own reputation, your own skills, and your own level of empathy and caring. You're going to have to work on these skills if you don't have them. But if you're a coach, I think you most probably have a lot of these skills that you're going to require. Transparency, being truthful and telling it as it is. We are tired of hearing stories. We are tired of having stuff hidden. We have just come out of state capture, which we haven't dealt with properly. Now we're in the middle of COVID. We see people taking other people's food parcels, and people nothing happening to them about that. So we are quite rightly so suspicious of nearly everything. And if you are going to be making claims, or if you are going to be marketing things, you have to be transparent with where your information comes from and what you do with that information. And then being socially responsible. There is a good way and there is a bad way. And there is no middle way in the times that we are in at the moment. A friend of mine, Dion Mars, and I have created something that we call the Basic Human Decency Index. I'm watching you. If you are a corporate or if you are a company and you treat people badly, or you steal their money, or a very good example is why a company that I'm never, ever, ever going to work for ever again is Bidvest. So Bidvest is doing incredibly well on the stock exchange. They have great cash reserves. They put 70,000 of their staff on forced leave for lockdown. So no, I'm going to pay you a part of your salary if you don't have leave days. If you have no leave days, you're not getting paid. You're not getting a salary. If you had leave, you've now used up leave because we're into day 50. No one has 50 days leave that I know. So it means you're not getting a salary at the end of this coming month. And this from a company that makes their money from security guards and cleaners. So you are putting the most vulnerable people in our society at risk. I'm watching you. I will never, ever support you ever again. And you, as a business and a coach, must be aware people are watching you. Do not teach something in your coaching sessions and not live it, because people are looking, and they are looking for reasons to mistrust people, because everyone is vulnerable, everyone is angry. We need to be very clear about how we live our lives. So all of these things then go through the pulse, which is feelings, esteem, admiration, and trust. And out on the other side, we come with either a recommendation from somebody who's personally talking about to a friend about your business, purchase, they themselves will sign up, of course. You're crisis proof. So if you had a good reputation before all of this happened, you will retain some of your clients, and most of your clients that can afford it will stay with you. Or if they leave you, they will recommend you to a friend who says, I need a coach, I need this, and you will get new clients, which is quite surprising to some people. How do these people get it right? It's because you had a good reputation, and your reputation is crisis proof. People will invest and they will give you money, you will find work. And there is this other little thing about transparency. We remain transparent and true if we pay attention to these 9 dimensions of reputation. So the next slide, please. Excuse me. So this is a reputation management dashboard for you. So point 1 is business management sustainability, which has a bunch of things under them: reputation management, advertising, risk management, financial management, human resources, external comms, stakeholder management, and ethics and governance. Along with that, you have a list of tools. So you can either do PR and events, crisis comms, media training, stakeholder management, implementation plans, youth leadership, proactive engagement with media, social media, and your online reputation management. Because if they hear about Elsabe the coach or Elsabe the PR person, people type my name into Google, and onto Google goes and searches, and back comes pages and pages of things I've done. So people usually read, if they're really interested in you, up to the first 3 pages. So if there's anything bad that comes up, please pay attention to it and manage your online reputation. You must engage with the media proactively always. Stakeholder management, so your clients and your community and people around you are your stakeholders. Managing those relationships and taking care of them is quite critical. And I would suggest we'll talk about it at length still. And then PR and the elements of PR, which are press releases, publicity, media relations, media monitoring, promotions and launches. So who has money for launches at this time? None of us. But we do have money, or you should be having money for promotions, which is a buy one, get one free, or maybe an introductory session for somebody of 15 minutes to see if they like you and they get on with you, or 30 minutes, whatever. Or vouchering. There are ways that we could be partnering, and we should be looking for local partners to maximize our marketing. So next slide, Hill, please. So we have a PR checklist. I've done the whole checklist here. And let's go to the next slide, and let's start with the stakeholder checking. So we need to check in with our stakeholders. We must compile their collective viewpoints and make sure we know what the people are thinking. It doesn't help that you think you know what they want. You must please talk to the people in your community, because in one community we might be having more issues around finances, and in another area of the community it might be around relationships, or our children are taking strain because how do we explain what's happening in lockdown? It all just depends. So to know where you should be pitching your business, you need to know what your stakeholders and the people need. And you will also personalize out of getting to know them which channels you use for them. So am I going to tweet them? Am I going to send them an emailer? Am I going to pick up the phone and actually call them? Which in the current time is a really good thing to do, because we are all hankering for a bit of human touch and real human communication. Or am I just going to put a Facebook ad up? So this all depends, and our strategy gets driven by what our stakeholders want. Next slide. We need to look at our objectives and strategy. So what do you want? Do you want to just survive? Do you want to thrive? Do you want to grow your business? Do you want to close your business? Do you want to attract a new audience? We need to think strategically about opportunities that make a difference. So do not profit from the situations and people's misfortune at the moment. And we do suggest that if we do come up with a plan, that you do it incrementally in phases. So we start and we increase things. So I've got a couple of clients that we're working with at the moment, and one of them is getting ready to launch a brand new product, which has been in development for 2 years, and fortuitously for us, it was a low touch, no touch kind of solution, which we were going to launch in August. But because of the kind of struggles that we are facing, we are launching a soft launch now in May, where we just start teasing the world and the community around the product and talking about it, which is part of our phased approach now, that we gently enter the market and we ramp it up as we go and we get closer to our date. It's also a great way for you as coaches and small business owners to test the market and test the waters without spending too much money. Resources are tight, I know, and we try and make sure that you can keep your resources safe. So next slide, please, Hill. So reevaluate. If you are a really great coach and you had a fantastic marketing program, we would like you to reevaluate your plans. The plans you had last week, last month, or yesterday are no longer valid. You have to re-look everything from scratch and get a new plan in place and keep refining this plan, because as I've mentioned before, things change at the drop of an eyelid. Last night, we all were very hopeful that we would hear that we're going into level 3, and that means that we can have a glass of wine, we can have a cigarette, and we could go back to work. It did not happen. He said we are going back to work at the end of May, if we are lucky. If you live in a place where people are being good and not naughty. So what does this mean and how you plan? You've got to have a base plan, and then you need to be as fluid as you can and work with it all the time, because things are changing by the minute, by the hour, by the day, by the week. And as we saw 2 weeks ago, they change overnight. The state president will say something, and then the minister says something else, which just throws a fox in the hen house. So you have to be agile in all your marketing and communications. Have a plan, have a backup plan, and have another backup plan. And shift. There's nothing wrong with shifting. In the past, we all got so attached to our plans and how things were. This has changed. Now, the quicker you can change, the better and the safer for you and everyone around you. Next one, please. Be human. It is so, this is most probably one of the most important things going ahead. Being human, caring, touching, and just reaching out to make people feel better. We have to mind our voice. We all can get a little bit irritated and snippy. I in particular just can't hide it when I'm grumpy, and I have to constantly pay attention to what I sound like, what I look like on a Zoom call, or how I talk to people on a WhatsApp call, because a lot gets lost in translation when we are not close to each other. So mind your voice, mind your tone, and mind your words. Your overall positioning and tone should be one of safety and empathy. People are scared. People are worried. Think about yourself. How are you feeling? Are you troubled? Are you irrationally angry? Are you up? Are you down? Everyone around you is going through it. So think about the fact that you're talking to yourself and your most vulnerable inner self. And you should be okay reaching out to people. And make sure, whether it's good news or bad news, deliver it in the most humane way possible. Do not hook onto human tragedy as your hook. So don't talk. Look, we all have to talk about suicide and what's happening, but I would not benefit from suicide. I wouldn't go out there and market saying, if you had someone who's committed suicide in your life, I will coach you through the process. Bad form, bad language, don't do it. Even though people need that skill, we have to find ways to talk about it in a different way that we never market. You can't profit off people's tragedy. Don't spread misinformation. I cannot stress this enough. Conspiracy theories, like the president's going to talk, he's not going to talk. The kind of angst you create when you spread something false from Facebook or WhatsApp group, listen to me very carefully. I've worked for government. We do not send out messages to the population and to people to advise you of a meeting or a speech via WhatsApp, unless you are a member of the media and you are on the specific media group that is run by the media person for the president. Those are the only people who will get that message. And I promise you, guaranteed, they're not going to share it with you, and they're not going to share it with the world. So if I get one more WhatsApp that says this is the head of psychology at Cape Town University, and people are committing suicide, and this is what you must do, nonsense. Stick to real places, real sources, and think carefully before you share stuff. Be extra conscious of back up your campaigns with data or expertise. So you are an expert in your field. So if you have any formal qualification, if you have read a study, if you have gone through studies, whatever, make sure you have the information to back it up. Banish corporate jargon, acronyms, short ways of referring to things. Now more than ever, people want to hear from sensitive, seeing, living, breathing human beings. And here I've talked about Human Basic Decency Index again. We have to be decent and we have to do what is right. So if you've had a client who's lost their job and they can't pay you anymore, please don't sue them for the money. Excuse me, I just need a sip of water. If it's not going to kill your business, have a negotiated settlement. Find out a way, if they've owed you money for sessions that they couldn't have, or they've paid you ahead of time. Try and honor those sessions. Even if they say they don't want them, just make a phone call, give an offer. be honorable, be decent, and do what is right for people, and particularly in your marketing. Do not sell false hope. Do not sell products and services that don't meet up to the standards required. Just be nice, please. Next one. Strong leadership. We need strong leadership now. People are falling apart. We see cabinets, political parties. We see structures that we used to think were so strong and so solid coming apart at the seams. I have lost all respect for so many people in my network. I will never, ever be able to look at them the same way ever again, because they crumbled and fell at the slightest hint of trouble. Or they've been spreading conspiracy news. I just can't. And our children need to see what it takes to actually go through tough times with grace, style, and as great as you can. We need to be honest in our spoken word. We need to recognize when there is a problem. We need to have clarity. We need to be compassionate. We need empathy. And we need strength in all our communications. Choose your words carefully. Reassure your staff. Reassure your clients. Reassure your friends. Reassure your family. Reassure your children. Things will be okay eventually. They're going to be different. It's not going to be easy, but we will get through this. And for some of us, it's going to be tougher, and for some of us, it's going to be easier. Some people are like sailing through this. They don't even look worried. Are you checking in with your team members? If you have staff, team, a domestic lady, a gardener, anyone who works for you, how are you treating those people? If you can, are you paying their salaries? You should be paying their salaries. Everything that I'm doing at the moment, because I've got more than one business, is to make sure that everybody gets a salary check. All my staff are off at home, but they get their full salaries because they don't earn that much. And I think it's the basic human decent thing to do. How good are you with your camera? Technology-wise, I'm a little bit... I'm an early adopter, but I'm also a little bit useless. I don't really know how to make a proper video with my phone, even though I should. I fortunately have some youngsters in my life who know how. We need to do video content that will convey your empathy, who you are, better to people. And to build confidence in your stakeholders. So next one, please. Preparation is key. So we all are at risk. We can have troubles become us because we might have to close our businesses due to the fact that a staff member got ill, or we came into contact with someone who was ill or is ill, and we get put into 14 days of isolation. Make sure you have a backup plan. Make sure you have a holding statement ready for in case you need to send something out into the media or into the world, on your Facebook page, on your LinkedIn page, wherever, to say that you're temporarily out of commission. These are the kinds of things we need to look at. Map some scenario planning for yourself. What is the chance that somebody does get infected at your business? What is the chance that your business will have to close down because somebody got infected? What is the chance? All of these things, go map them and plan them. Have you prepared for an employee contacting COVID and having to talk to the media? Do you have social media Q&As for customers who are concerned about hygiene? And handling all of this is so key when you do it. And this is where brand trust is built or it's broken. So if I have to think about Pick and Pay, so why do I rave about my Pick and Pay so madly? Because I think this family store cares about me. They build their brand and their reputation. They have adopted a very cautious approach from day one. As you've heard, all the extreme measures they go to keep their customers safe. And they constantly are giving us updates as to, this is what it looks like. Oh, we heard you were talking about this little slimy residue. This residue is because of this, which just keeps us all updated. It keeps us all on the same page. And we understand that they care about us. And we feel cared and loved for.
which is magnificent, which really helps grow your reputation. The next slide, please, Gil. So we must communicate regularly, please. If it's not important, don't send it out. Do not tell me about Tandiani's, Sunny's, or whatever. I want to know what is critical. I don't want to hear about a birthday party. Do not send me a press release. The media are just going to giggle at you and laugh at you. If you send them anything about a birthday party, about an opening party, about something silly, they don't care. They're too busy dealing with the real stuff at the moment. But also don't keep quiet. Talk about what you're doing. There's so many great things you could be doing as coaches. So we know that the world is scared. We know the world is worried. You should be talking to the Caxtons. Now, I know that they're closing their magazines, but their local newspapers like the Benoni City Times, the Edenvale News, the Rosebank Gazette, all those kinds of papers are still active and still going, and they all have an online version. Reach out to the editor. Offer the editor that you are prepared to do an advice column in their paper or their publication once a week, talking about various impacts on mental health, tips on what to do if you have been retrenched, how do I get my headspace back in the game to look for a job, should I be looking and considering about becoming an entrepreneur, what does it take to become, there are a myriad of articles you could be writing and offering to your local media for free. Those of you who live in Joburg, there's some really great stations around, like Chai FM. If you are Jewish, do go and get interviewed on Chai, because they have a great database. Their clients are great. You get fantastic coverage, and it builds your profile. It will get you out there. People will know who you are, and you will then develop a great reputation as someone who is a thought leader in their field. So the government directives are changing daily, and we have a duty of care on ourselves to reassure people that we are complying with them. Oh, sure, this is a very difficult one, particularly if you don't agree with them. Like the no smoking rule or the no cigarette rule. I'm quite unhappy about that one. But we have to keep on saying that it's okay, it's right, do socially distance, do distancing, don't go out after dark, be a good citizen and keep everyone around you safe. But also, we are at that cluster point now where we don't know which way it's going to go, because we are either going to rebel and brace completely, or we are going to stick to the rules. And I would suggest that we stick to the rules and keep people safe, and that we comply. Keep talking to people, keep listening to your audience, and adapt and develop as you go on. Press releases and launches are a key part of any PR strategy, especially business to business and business to consumer. But the fact is that now is not the time for just an announcement. Now is the time to share valued content. The reality is nobody cares about you and your party. Everybody is in a state of panic and has time only to focus on the here and the now, and the stuff that is going to help them fix stuff. So you have to think about, what can you offer people now that will make them feel better, that will make them feel in charge, that will make them feel like they can move ahead, because we need to grow that sector of our market and we need to take care of them. So put off anything that doesn't meet these criteria, and do not, and I have it written in the presentation in red letters in capitals, piggyback any arbitrary news onto the pandemic. So do not say, Sunny is launching a new salon and it counteracts COVID-19 infections by XYZ. Please don't. It is really bad form and in poor taste. Phil, can we have the next slide, please? Creative content. Now, people, this is where you can really zoom and bloom. You can do so well. So we're living in a very content-led space at the moment, and being content-led in your own strategy is perfect and is fantastic. You could be making these short little power videos that you could be sending out to your client database with a tip of the day on how to get through the day. A tip of the day, I've been doing a lot of baking and cooking, so I got chosen as part of a publication around lockdown baking, isolation baking. Now, I bake a lot, so my rusks and a couple of my recipes have been featured. My reputation is growing just because I bake well, and I make sure that I enter my stuff and I share my information online with people. Everybody needs a sugary snack, and sugary snacks make people happy, so I'm the girl that's making you happy, and that's quite a nice association for me. And having a content-led plan like this is cost efficient. It means it's much cheaper for you, and it's less. It's not going to kill your budget. And you, if you have kids or you are quite creative, you can be doing this yourself. And please don't focus on your own needs during this time. Focus on how you can make other people feel happier, better, more secure, more safe, and how we can help them blossom in this time. And you will grow your market without you even knowing that you're growing your market. You must put your audience first, their needs, their concerns. And remember, this is not a time to benefit, it's a time to show that you care. Do not, please, do not go out there and say, we have just landed a new account, or I got 5 new clients, because all you're going to do is you're going to make other people angry and you're going to make them jealous. Be creative in an empathetic and authentic way. Great, the next one. Please, Hill. Donate, donate, and donate some more. I can't talk about this enough. We all see the pictures of people starving, people being hungry. We need to help each other get through this. If you can, donate money to charity, make food. If you give a free session to healthcare workers, because that'll be a great story if you were guiding and coaching the nurses at Mill Park or at your local doctor's office or at your local clinic. These are things that you can do to care and look after people at this time. If you want to run workshops for people who have recently been retrenched, who then just to sort of get themselves back into place where they can start thinking about looking for a job. If you're going to do these pro bono, if you do free introductory sessions, there are ways to give away. People will remember who you are, and whatever you do, make sure that it's within legal guidelines. Next, please. Here. Measurement and analysis. So we always measure what we do so that we know what has worked and where we need to tweak or adjust. And it's still true. So look at your Google metrics, see what it is, see how to get there, see which is working, which is not, track comments, answer your comments, and get constant feedback, because it'll help you refine where you are and what you need to pay attention to. And then your digital, next slide please, Hill, is the digital health status. So what does your digital platform look like? Are you online? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you tweet? Do you Instagram? So where are you at? Are your social media channels set up properly? Are you listing your products properly? And if they're calling in and reaching the staff member, does your staff member know about the deals? If you have a buy one, get one free, there's nothing worse than someone calling in and then the person answering the phone not knowing what there was. That just irritates me senseless, and will make sure that I never come back to you again. So please don't make that mistake. The next one. So there's a process that you can go through to evaluate the things that you do and where you're at. We're not going to bore you with that now. In the last bit of time that I have, I would want to focus on where we could be going for growth. You need to personalize, and you need to be, it's on the next slide here. You need to personalize your messaging. It needs to matter for the people who it's reaching. Don't do generic stuff. Don't just do stuff because of summa. It must speak to your audience. Be an expert voice. Offer, as I mentioned before, to be the free spokesperson, to do clinics, to do all sorts of things for people because your name will get out there and people will be seeing you and you will be the local guru on that. Make sure you've been trained to speak to the media. There's nothing more embarrassing than saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. Then adapt lifestyle PR tactics. So in the past, we used to offer people hampers. We used to give them vouchers. You can still give vouchers. You can give them vouchers for a free session, an introductory talk. I would send this out to all of your clients who previously were your clients and no longer are. Some of them might have been thinking about seeing someone again, and that might just be the reminder to get them through. Mind your voice, as we've mentioned before. Check your tone. Use good words, empathetic words, but do not play the victim. And then the biggest change, I think, that's coming out of this situation is living for slow living. We have to slow down. We have to change how we do things. We need to grow more things. We need to buy less. We need to read more, sit and spend time with our families, engage on a real, honest level with people. And these are skills we have lost in the digital age and in the fast-paced world that we have been living in. We need to write more about it. We need to talk more about it. And we need to teach people how to live in the here and the now in this moment. And that gives you great opportunities for marketing and lots of new things to talk about. Next slide, please, Gil. So, in closing, to end this, stay safe, stay strong, this will pass. Be mindful not to promote your brand and how it took on during the crisis. You don't want to be seen as to be profiteering from this tragedy. Don't be discouraged if something doesn't work. Everybody, and you're not hearing back, everybody is running around trying to figure out what the hell's going on. They're all trying to realign their own plans. They need to save jobs, save people, all sorts of things. Share reliable information and be ethical, responsible, empathetic, and human. We need to remember, as lots of people say, that we're all in the same boat. No, we're not. We're all in the same storm. We are in different boats and different things are happening to them, but we are in the middle of the same storm. Crisis does not build character, it reveals it. And we are, so just be aware, it's really good for you. And let's get out of this through the other side. I am fortunate to have a meeting that I need to attend for somebody else. But could we do a follow-up questions and answer session if anyone has any questions?
Yeah, so what we can do a couple of things. Either people can, me and Teresa will stay on and they can just send them to us. We'll collect them, or we'll just schedule a follow-up thing. I think I leave that with Teresa, how she wants to handle that. But we can do both of them.
That's cool. Thanks, Elsabe. Do your thing.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. That's cool. I can also ask a few questions. I've got a few ideas that I want to share as well. And then I'll chat to you and schedule a follow-up. Okay. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, so everyone who joins, thank you. Thank you all for that. Obviously, as said, yeah, Elsabe has a follow-up meeting. So what we'll do is we'll invite everyone who was here. We'll send a link to just join in a quick Q&A session. And basically what we'll organize it as being where you can just ask any questions that you have about marketing to her. That way we have an entire hour. So if you have any questions about the presentation, then just write them down or send them to Teresa. And we'll make sure they get answered there as well.
Yeah, I think what I took away from what you were saying is literally, and what I'm finding is working at the moment as well, is that because everyone's unsure, are you still in business? Aren't you in business? Are you going to be there for me? Not going to be there for me? Is to start with the client base that you've got by reaching out to them, whether it then be telephonically or via a WhatsApp, or whatever the case is, to say, I'm still here. We can help. What can I do for you? What do you need? Really determining what the client's needs are before you start building on a new database. Now start with what you've got, because that's what you know, and they know you already, and they're with you for a certain reason. I mean, there are many coaches out there, many mediators out there, but people find each other because there's a synergy in a rapport in relationship, and people see things the same way. So they're with you for a certain reason, and make sure that they stay with you for that reason. And that's what we're finding is really working at the moment, is that people are in all fields. Start with what you know, who you know, and then start building on that. But there's a definite gap without taking it, as Elsabe says, profiteering off a tragedy. There's a definite gap now for coaches and mediators, because people now need someone to help them. They don't have access to, or free access to, people out there any longer. So the way you market yourself is going to determine how many, or how you're going to grow as well.
Yeah, look, definitely, and it is about getting creative. But what we've seen is clients are, they're understanding. They understand you can't do sessions in person, which means if you just make some kind of effort and try to meet them halfway, or at least think creatively about what you can offer them, it'll hit home with them, and they'll really appreciate it. There was a hypnotherapist in the Netherlands who, obviously, she can't do sessions anymore, but she just said to clients, "Look, I'm willing to we'll take a walk through the park. We'll maintain all the government guidelines, but we can still do something together, and I can still help you in another way." Those type of things help, and they make an impact with clients.
Although as you got newsletters from us as well, I mean, the government gazette came out, and mediators can now actually mediate, and there's so many opportunities now. The road accident fund, for instance, is now saying, let's mediate. There's a huge backlog in court cases, family law, all of that. So most of you on here, I think, have received travel permits from me already. If you haven't, you can give me a call or just send me a mail. Same with the coaching side, in that the Gazette also said that mental health practitioners, and we believe that coaches, life coaches, are part of all of the mental health practitioner, or the field, the industry, can do the same. So yes, if you haven't spoken to me yet, let me know, then I can see how I can help. But you would be able to obviously travel. But yeah, I think it's better if you can still do things online. But otherwise, if you need to travel specifically in mediation, you will have to travel. So do what you need to do. The other thing that Elsabe also mentioned, obviously, is Google yourself, which I always find very interesting and disturbing at the same time. Giel actually wrote something in 2016 already on SEO words, and I'm just going to add the link there now in the chat box. You all have access to a dashboard if you're a member of the ICR register or the ADR register, and you can actually change some of the detail in your profile and make yourself more visible and findable online. So read through the article. It does give a few ideas on how to tag, and I mean, it's the same with Twitter and LinkedIn and everything. It's all about the tagging and what words you use. Have a look at it, because that can also improve your Google rating, if I can call it that. It's odd, but yes, that's what it is. And if there's anything else that we can assist with, let us know. If there's questions, just mail them to me. I can ask Elsabe to get back to you. We can also send through this presentation to you as I think it's PowerPoint, Phil. Was it a PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah, we'll send the presentation and the recording as well, so you can go through both of them, and we'll post it online. So you'll get an email from us where everything is in, and then we'll host another session, as said, just generally about marketing. Marketing in general, and as well as what to take into account with the specific situation with COVID. So we'll host that, and we'll keep you updated when we're going to do that one, because we just have to plan it in with Elsabe. And Teresa, you might know other people that we make it a bigger panel, so we'll see.
Yes, we'll get a few extra people in.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe just a panel for questions, you know,
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
of
No, but that'll be the thing. So basically, just if you have any questions, just feel free to join. That's kind of how we'll structure that.
yes.
Okay.
Cool.
I
And
think
then
for
we've also got our first chat sessions, as we call them, the beginning of June. Every first Monday of the month, we're going to be talking to people in the ADR industry. It's all online already. I'll send you the links again. And every first Tuesday of the month, we'll be talking to the ICR people. And the idea will be, it's an open session. We will go online. Whoever wants to come online, comes online, chats to us, asks questions, chats to, you know, fellow attendees on it, asking questions. So it's just going to be a get to know, but also, you know, just a bit more contact, which we all need at the moment. But I'll send you all links to that.
yeah, and
Presentations, yes, you sent the YouTube channel.
yeah, so we'll keep you updated if you're registered with us and on our Facebook and LinkedIn. So on the social media, we'll post them. And in general, if you just subscribe to the YouTube channel, it'll send you an update whenever there's a new video, and you can be able to access all the old ones as well. So we post all the recordings there.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. I mean, I know it was a bit. I actually hoped for more time with Elsabe to answer questions. I've got a few questions myself.
Yeah, we'll plan it in this way. That way, we have a full hour to just really dive into the questions. That means she can also dive in really deep detail. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you for joining. And yeah, we'll host another one. So we'll be in touch.
Goodbye.